Hey, y'all. My name's Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. We had a fun episode this time around.
Oh, we did. One of our good friends, Andy Peebles.
Yeah.
He hopped on today.
Episode 5.
We are on 5.
We're getting
halfway to double digits. Close one.
Home stretch, baby.
Yeah.
Home stretch.
But no, Andy had some funny stories work-wise that involved parents.
It's so much fun. Again, we've known Andy for so long. We like to have those fun conversations, but then we also get the opportunity to just tell some of those things that are so relatable from one dad to the next. I mean, inevitably, we're going to end up going to the hospital, and we're going to talk about it. So it was a lot of fun.
Yep, it was. It was a great episode. Can't wait for you guys to hear it.
So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he is the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Doing great. All right, the golf clap. That's what I'm talking about. It's a good day for a good day, boys.
It's a good day for a good day.
It's funny. That's why I tell my boys every time I wake them up in the morning. I'm like, guys, it's a good day for a good day.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's very pleasant.
It is, but then Liam's like, I'm a dinosaur. Roar. And I'm just like, all right. Good
point, Liam.
Good talk.
Yeah, I think you missed it, but okay.
But
thanks,
went right over his head, but he'll get there. Super excited today. We have another great guest on the show.
Great. Probably generous.
Right. I think we both, I've known Andy for a while. You've known Andy since what?
Andy and I have known each other since 3rd grade, I believe.
3rd grade.
Unfortunately,
I think you had an earring at that time.
The earring was in 5th grade. Thank you.
Okay.
That's a story for a different time.
Can't wait
Andy.
to hear that one.
I'll get that out there right off the bat.
Yeah, just really make sure everybody knows.
But we have Andrew Thomas Peebles, Esquire, a.k.a. Andy Peebles, a.k.a. AP, with us today. So Andy, obviously, me and Bryant know you very well. I've known you for quite a while, but but a lot of our listeners probably don't know you. So if you will, tell us
all 7 of them
who you are, what it is that you do. Give us your dad resume. How many kids you have, what are their ages, who's your favorite. Go from there.
Sure. Well, I'm excited to be here. What an intro, though. I mean, I'll tell you what, I didn't know what to expect coming on here, but you've got this thing down.
Yeah.
You've got it down pat. I will say early on in this, little concern about the longevity of this show. If I'm one of the first 4 or 5 guests, you're kind of scrounging the bottom of the barrel now.
Really having to work.
You've got to have other
now.
friends. You've got to have other more interesting friends, but that's okay. Andy Peebles. I've known you guys for a long time. Bryant, probably longer than I'd like.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, estate planning attorney here in town. Been doing that for about 7 years. Mizzou grad, graduated undergrad and law school at Mizzou, and married to a great wife, Courtney. And we've got 2 children, Eliza, who is just over 2 years old, and then George, who is 7 months, going on 8 months
baby.
here in just a week or so. So 2 of each, or 1 of each, 2 kids total. I got the math.
There you go.
We've had problems with guests in math before, so I think we're okay for now. Really glad you're here, dude. Again, I've known Andy for a very, very long time. We were children together, like running around the elementary school soccer fields together. So I'm really excited to have Andy here. And we've also become better friends as our wives have become friends, which why is that the thing that happens when we get older? That if you don't get to be friends with people unless your spouse is friends with them too, almost, with their significant other too, because it's kind of hard to spend time with people. But only, if Courtney really didn't, I know Courtney doesn't really like me, but like she's stuck with it because she likes Liv.
Sure. Yeah, your wife kind of becomes your mom. Like when you were a child.
That's so true.
Your mom's like, look, that is someone I don't want you hanging out with, so we're not hanging out with them anymore. and that's it. And that's you go, well, I want to. Like they're good people. It's like, I'm sorry, no, that's not. Sorry. It's not going to happen.
Them's the breaks. Sorry, pal.
So you have to do a podcast so that you can hang out with your friends that your wives don't like.
Yeah, this is our excuse. We want to drink coffee and hang out in the basement. So
I told Derek right when I got here, I was like, I told Courtney, my wife, I was like, I'm going to go do a podcast. She's like, I'm sorry? What? You're going to do what? It was like, yeah, it's a really huge podcast, thousands of listeners across the world. And,
not yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah. But she's like, okay, have fun. Just get out of the house, please.
Please go away. Yeah, please leave us alone. Well, speaking of the podcast, we have a handful of things that we do every episode, and we always start out with the infamous tantrum of the week. Inevitably, everybody's going to have a tantrum that they dealt with. A week is probably long enough for 7 or 8 tantrums. So tantrum of the week is a little redundant. DC, you want to start it up this time? What tantrums did you have?
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Allie before this, and I was like, what tantrum should I bring up on this episode? We had some good ones this week, and so we finally nailed down one. So I mentioned on other episodes. My oldest Liam, he's definitely a daddy's boy. We're super tight. So when we're driving around, for whatever reason, in my truck, I'm driving, Allie's passenger seat in the back, Liam's on the passenger side, and Brody's in the middle. So when we get out, it makes sense for me to grab Brody, Allie to grab Liam, right?
Yep.
Well, Liam doesn't like it whenever Allie gets him out of his car seat.
Okay.
He wants Dad to get him out of his car seat. So we get home, we ran and grabbed dinner, brought it home the other night, parked in the garage, and I'm getting Brody out, and Allie's trying to get Liam out, and he's, of course, losing his shit because he wants Dad to come.
Dad does it differently.
Yeah,
right?
Dad does it better. Fix it.
Dad pushes those 2 buckle buttons differently. But yeah, so I get Brody out, I'm walking around, Allie finally gets Liam out, and he's losing it, even though he's out of the car seat. He's in the garage. And normally when he does that, we'll like walk away, be like, hey, we're going to go eat dinner. Like, come on. And he'll follow us typically and kind of, get over his tantrum. Well, not that day. We're walking through the garage, and me, Brody, Allie, we all walk inside because we have like 3 or 4 steps up into the kitchen there. And Liam was behind us, and then he just stops. He stops at that top step, and he's just crying. Not like he's hurt or injured, just whining, crying, We're like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start eating dinner, and he'll be fine. He'll come over there once he realizes we're not really, paying attention to him or giving into his little tantrum there.
And is that where you insert the meme 12 minutes later?
But seriously.
Was it really?
Oh, like we're eating there, and at least 10 minutes went by, and he's still just standing there on the top step, just like crying and whining.
Buddy.
And it's funny because I was thinking about it, I'm like, I'm the type of person, I'm like, I'm not going to go get you. Like, you're going to get over it, and you're going to come over here and eat your dinner.
Figure this out.
Yeah.
Well, he has that same attitude.
Go figure.
You're going to come get me. I'm not going anywhere until you come get me, And well, finally, Allie, she doesn't have that same attitude, thank goodness. And so she goes over there, gets him, comforts him. He's fine. He starts eating at that point, and it's all good. But yeah, the little things they get.
This was all
upset
stemming from pushing the buckle buttons.
Well,
correctly.
No, yeah, just from Allie getting him out of his car seat so that we can go play.
How dare she?
Right? I know.
I can't believe
I'm
it.
kind of on Liam's side.
I had a long talking to her after dinner.
Yeah, thank
Don't
you.
Is
I
that because
appreciate
your
that.
mentality is more like a 2, 3, 4-year-old?
Absolutely.
Okay, just checking.
I think you know that.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. What about your tantrums? Do you have any tantrums this week?
Our tantrums recently have been with Eliza, our oldest, our little girl, mostly centered around bowel movements. So she's afraid to poop. She's terrified of pooping. She thinks it's scary. She thinks it's going to hurt her. She thinks it's a demon exiting her body.
What?
And so she.
How have I not heard of this?
Right? Oh yeah, this is a fun thing. This is something that's just come up, and it's been a great
It's a real
time.
problem.
Yeah, really
in
exciting.
the Peebles household over the last month or so.
And this isn't potty training or anything.
Well, we're kind of in the middle of potty training.
Okay, that's what I thought.
She's good at she understands how to hold it, and she's good at number 1. Number 2 is a different story, and basically she holds it in until the point where an explosion is about to happen, and sometimes
Sure.
it does, and then that's great
poor
too.
kid.
But
Poor
so
kid.
basically, we know she has to go. She's in pain. You can tell she's irritable, and it's like, you're gonna go to the bathroom. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
do it.
Yeah,
like
just
just
go.
get this done. And so we'll sit her down, and she's just screaming and just bawling and like hitting us like no, I have to go. I'm done. It's not coming. I can't do it. And this
my
goes on for
gosh.
like 10, 15 minutes, and then finally it's like, fine, if you're not going to do it, it's fine. Just go poop on the floor, and which happens.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
going to say, how often
as
have
soon
you
as you put that
experienced
diaper back on.
Oh,
then they go.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, I mean, she honestly is a pretty good kid, but that has been just unbelievably
That's the one thing.
challenging, and it's just so frustrating. Because it's like, we know you will feel better.
Right.
And,
Sure.
as an adult, pooping feels good. I know this.
Yes,
right? We all know
yeah.
this.
Like,
pooping
been
is
there,
a good
done
thing.
that,
Like,
yeah.
A
that's
lot
why
of
we
times it's
spend-
the highlight of my day.
Absolutely. That's why we spend 20, 25 minutes on the pot.
You know?
And the phone helps too.
Yeah,
scrolling.
just, Instagram
But she
is
doesn't
a
get that yet.
dangerous
She's
thing.
like, this is a dangerous activity. This could hurt me, and I'm not going
Poor
to do it.
kid.
So that's kind of where we're at right now.
That's funny.
With her.
I have not heard that one before.
Yeah.
That's new to me.
Yeah.
He's potty training. You're in the middle of it. Elsie's not quite there yet. Like, we have the little potty training toilet thing in our house, and we have periodically set her on it, but that's mostly just because we're gluttons for cleaning up somebody else's poop out of a smaller toilet than a normal toilet.
Yeah.
I don't really know why we felt the need to do that, but we have it. Our tantrum this week has just been super generic. Elsie still has not been feeling well. We went to the hospital last Sunday with 104 fever and
hate that.
all that crap. I crossed that one off the new dad checklist. But as a result of that, she has had some mystery virus for like 4, 5, 6 days, and we've just been trying to get her better from that. And it's been fights about, I'm not hungry, I want to go to bed, but I don't want to go to bed, and I'm not going to go to bed, and I'm going to sit there and alligator roll. We've started calling it the alligator death roll, because she just will sit there on your lap trying to get her to sleep, and she's just rolling.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, please, just, I want to read more books. Going back to Travis, like, Trav started at 15 books a night, and he's got it down to 4. Elsie, I read her the same book 7 times. And we're gonna read. And I'm fine with that. But the 7th time I have to read about Elmo and Bert and Ernie going to sleep, and it's like a 10-page book, and it's the same 40 words over and over and over
You start
again.
dreaming about it.
Oh, it was a real problem. So again, my tantrums are not very funny this week, but
well,
it's just one of those things that we all deal with. I feel like.
Well, you know what? It sounds like you could probably use a good dad hack.
A good dad hack.
or
Yeah,
some
baby.
dad
What a
advice.
transition that was.
So Andy, that's something we always ask all our guests. What's a good dad hack you have, or some good dad advice? So, yeah, what do you got?
I was thinking about this, and I think honestly one of the best things for me is setting my alarm earlier than I would generally get up, just to have literally my alone time.
Right.
Because once the kids get up, the day's chaos. Trying to get them ready for bed,
So
or
good,
for
AP. So good.
ready for school. Try to go to work, and then once you get home from work, they're still wired up. It's time for dinner. Dinner's its own issue. So it's like you really have to get up, do the things that you want to do just in your own time, fill up your cup, so to speak, before you can feel like you're ready, to deal with the tornado, the joy tornado that is children.
Children being awake.
So yeah, I'll get up like an hour earlier than I usually do. I'll do some reading. I'll do some scripture reading or do some work or whatever it is, just to kind of get my mind right for the day. And then days that I do that, which is not all the time. I mean, there's some days it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But days that I do that, those days are so much better than the days where I'm just waking up late because I wanted to sleep in, and then it's just chaos because your day is just so different. So that's big for me.
Well, and so I wanted to make sure and remind you of this, because you actually gave me really good dad advice when Elsie was really young. You said something that kind of is vaguely reminiscent of what you just said, is that wake up early with the kid. And spend a little time with the little one, particularly when Elsie couldn't move or Eliza couldn't move. It was one of those deals where it's like, hang out with them, get your coffee, get your morning coffee, and just spend a little bit of time with you and the little one.
Right.
Let your spouse sleep, but also get some good dad-kid time in. And I've loved that and started doing that because you told me about it. And so that's one of those things where it's like, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this is to have these kind of conversations, to say, hey, thanks, because you offered some good advice and we appreciate that. We want to build that community and let people have those kind of conversations back and forth about that. My dad hack is something that I heard. Social media is a real pain in the ass, but it's also pretty good for just like really short, good one-liners. And the one that I heard the other day was show them what to do rather than what not to do. We struggle with Elsie at dinner. She wants to toss food. And instead of getting for the longest time, I would just go, Elsie, no, we just you want to eat the food. Don't throw the food. Don't do that. Don't, no, stop. And that doesn't help. And so we started mimicking eating the food, or, ooh, look, I'm going to take a bite of it. It's really good. And it's helped so much. Mm-hmm. Or, like my mother and father have a cat that is a 17-year-old cat.
Oh.
Metro.
I'm still alive.
You'll get a laugh out of this. Metro. You remember that one? That was one of those obnoxious nicknames that I had in high school. Metro.
I'm bringing that back.
By the way, as you well should. No, that's fair.
This is a new. It's back now.
Yeah, right.
You
fair.
Just put it out there.
But that like 17-year-old cat, obviously you can't pet the cat very hard, and a little kid doesn't know that, and so we had to work on mimicking nice pets as opposed to wailing on the cat like you do with our dogs, because our dogs are impervious to damage, like they're just dogs. But we liked the idea of tell them what to do, show them what to do, as opposed to telling them, no, don't do that, because they don't understand no, they just understand here's what to do. Right. So that was one that I really liked.
Reinforcement.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's always good.
As a negative person like myself, I struggle with that sometimes.
That's hard for you to do.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
Yeah. No, I mean, little kids, I mean, I think that's one thing we take for granted is they don't really understand, what you're saying all the time, but they understand what you're doing. They can see that. So I think, showing them, that's a big thing. Andy, I love what you brought up there as far as, waking up early, because that's something I try to do as well too, and just get, an hour or two in the morning, just have it to myself, and get ready for the day.
I got to know what time your guys' kids get up that you can...
8 o'clock. Mine
Seriously? What about
8? They sleep until 8?
Yeah.
Oh,
what about your munchkins? What time are you getting up at 4 in the morning?
They're usually up at like between 7 and 7:30.
So you're getting up at 5,
wake up.
6:30, 6:30.
My alarm's usually I set it up at 5:30, 5:45, and then inevitably snooze it.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it's like, no, it's 5:30.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting out of bed.
Yeah, nighttime Andy's an idiot. Like, what morning Andy
what
hates nighttime
psychopath
Andy.
wakes up at 5:30?
Why would I do this? And then finally it's like, all right, I need to get up. So I usually get up about 5:45 or 6.
Okay.
And just have about an hour.
Good for you.
To make the coffee, get ready, all that kind of stuff.
I didn't mean to derail that, but I had that thought where I was like, God dang, what time are you guys getting up?
You're jealous. I get it.
I am jealous.
But no, I like that. But then too, on the other end of the day, and I think I brought this up, was it last episode or the one before anyways, where after they go down for bed, me and Allie, we basically don't talk to each other for like 20 or 30 minutes, and we both just decompress from the day, right? And then after that, then we have adult conversations, and because I feel you need that, right? Because you're just so in tune with your kids all day, or at least when you're with them throughout the day, that you need those adult, mature conversations to
100%.
remain sane. So that's one thing that we do.
There are times in the day, especially Monday through Friday, that Courtney and I will literally not intentionally, but we won't say a word to each other until after dinner. After the kids are down, it's like, hi. It's like, how are you?
How was your day?
Hi, I love you. I'm married to you. It's really nice.
Like, what'd you do today? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And because like even in the mornings, she'll usually sleep in a little bit, which she deserves that.
Sure,
right?
of course.
Absolutely.
But so we won't see each other as much in the morning until the kids are getting ready, and it's just kind of chaos. So, but you have to do that, and I think you're right, because once the kids go to bed, it's like, you just need to just stop. I need nothing.
Right.
I need silence. Work was crazy. The kids are crazy. But I think that's
well. And we've talked about that a couple of times so far. That whether you have the spouse that stays home, or the spouse that spends part of the time home with the kids, or you both work, and at the end of the day, when everybody's home, it's that like time. Okay, we get to spend time with our kid, but you also have got to think about yourself a little bit, because if you're not getting yourself right, then you're just not taking care of your kids.
You got to think of yourself and your spouse.
Yeah,
as well
exactly.
Too, right? Because you do get so distracted by
100%.
the little ones.
Those are good. Yeah, I like those.
Okay, so I wanted to very quickly ask you. So college football has some very specific rules. I know that due to recent Mizzou football losses, I figured I would ask, do you have any rule changes that you would like to see instated? Maybe with like punting and when you're allowed to tackle the punter and whether it's okay or not. Could you elaborate on that? Any rule changes you'd like to see?
No.
Wow.
Really great podcast, guys. Andy, I love you so
Straight
much.
to the point.
Why are you doing this?
I don't know.
I know this was planned. It's like, look, Andy's going to be so angry about yesterday. Let's just bring that out.
I'm gonna show you my notes here.
Andy
It just says
Mizzou punter.
Andy
Yeah.
Mizzou punter, and that's all it says on my notes.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we want to do this? So I guess
Yes,
for anybody who doesn't understand what happened, this week Mizzou was playing a game, playing Kentucky, one of their rivals. They continue to lose to by just a few points every year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, we need to win this game. You know, we stopped them. There's 2 minutes left in the game. We forced a punt. Kentucky snaps the ball over the punter's head
By like 20,
yards.
forever.
It's at the Mizzou 5 now, okay? So we're going to pick this up, and we're going to have 2 minutes to just score from the 5 and win the game.
Perfect.
Game's over.
How
okay?
perfect.
So Mizzou player's going out to tackle the punter because he's now, it's a live ball.
Yeah.
He tackles him as he gets a punt
And
off
it's
somehow,
40 yards from the
miraculously.
line of scrimmage.
Yeah, miraculously punts the ball, gets hit. It's roughing the kicker.
Because
I
he was
don't-
inside the tackle box.
I don't
That's the rule.
understand how you have the same protections as a punter 40 yards behind the
You
line
needed plenty
of
of room,
scrimmage.
okay?
You just don't tackle anybody anymore. Yeah, just make sure he gets the punt off, guys. Okay,
Right.
Put the pillow down, make sure he's okay. So yeah, I guess that would be one I hope they look at. It's nice that Mizzou can be the test case here, as they always
Yeah.
are.
Well,
just another way to lose.
And I
So,
love
thank you,
it-
Bryant.
And I
for
love
bringing it up.
that question came from the guy whose team lost to the perennial powerhouse, the Liberty Flames.
the Flames.
I
I
think
don't-
that's their mascot.
I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking
Did
about.
you even watch
Yeah.
the game? Did you watch it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did watch it, and I was trying to avoid talking about it by bothering you.
I
was trying to avoid talking about it by
We're gonna
bothering
talk
you.
about Mizzou's incredibly unique ways to lose games. We're going to talk about your team.
Well, my team that almost lost to the local Missouri State University Bears, who have gone on to lose 7 or 8 games in a row for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Lost to the powerhouse that was the Liberty Flames yesterday. So really, really excited about that. That's not on our list. I just wanted to talk shit.
Thank you for doing that.
I love you, buddy. I'm here for you.
It's going to come down, honestly, I'll just say this real quickly, to the Arkansas game, the Mizzou-Arkansas
yes.
game, if Mizzou can be bowl eligible.
Is that still on? I apologize for interrupting you. Is that still on the Thanksgiving weekend? Like it's been several years in a row. Okay, that's what I thought.
Day after Thanksgiving, I believe it's in Columbia this year. We need to put some heavy money on it.
Yeah, we should.
I like that.
Like shaving our mustaches
I said
into.
money. I said money.
Oh,
I
okay.
did not say.
I'm all right. If you're too big of a bitch, that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Great stuff. Can I get a new coaster here?
Yeah,
other than
I
this Go
hate that you
Hogs
have
coaster?
to use that Go Hogs coaster. So, sorry, that was not part of our agenda. I just
Thanks
really
for bringing
wanted
it
to
up,
bother
though.
you. I was really
I'm gonna
excited
go
about it for you. So, I want to talk about funny experiences from dadding. And we have talked about it in the past, specifically that dadding starts before you're actually a dad because you have to experience the hospital with your significant other while the baby is being delivered. Just because I've known you for as long as I have, and we've had these conversations, I know you have some interesting stories about the hospital and your experiences therein. Would you elaborate? I know I never got the opportunity to cut the cord because Elsie was delivered via C-section, but I remember you telling me that I needed to really start doing some curls and stuff to prepare for that. Can you elaborate on why you gave me that advice?
Yeah, I mean, there's no classes to teach you how to cut the cord, and it's just like that quintessential like, oh, you're the dad, you have
gotta
to
cut the cord.
This
Sure.
has been done
Yeah.
for thousands of years, and if you get it wrong, you're not a good dad. And
I could have told you that. I could have told you that.
And so I mean, literally, what's going on is the kid has just come out. For those of you who don't know how childbirthing works, the kid comes out, and it's still connected to the mother's placenta, right? Okay. Do you want to get any more detailed on this?
Talk about the blood.
Oh, yeah, blood everywhere. Sometimes poop.
Yes, that too. Yeah, as a matter of fact.
This is a good episode, by the way. Sorry, Courtney.
Not with Courtney though. That was hers was the most beautiful thing.
Right. So you've got all this insanity going on. You're just like in my case, and I'll just say like I was just blubbering like a baby.
Yeah, sure.
Like did not expect to cry at all, but I'm just like, oh my god, it's like a child. Like I'm just bawling, and there's like, here, take these flimsy little hospital scissors and cut the cord. Like you need to do that quickly. I was like, okay, sure, yeah. And you think it's just going to be like a little like snip, like, all right, we're good.
You're cutting a rubber band.
That thing is strong. You know, that thing has got some girth to it. It takes you like,
I hear that all the
it's
time.
basically just like gnawing on it with the scissors for several times. And then finally, oh, you're like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And then it finally snaps. But what a was not expecting that experience.
I was scared to death going into it because of your experience. I was like, shit, I'm not. I don't want to have that same problem. Where it's like I gotta work on my little muscle up, but just with my thumb.
Yeah.
No, it's so true though, because I don't know, see it on movies or whatever, but you think you're cutting like a rubber band, right?
Sure.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But then it's like, no, that's just the outside. There's like some whatever's on the inside.
Yeah,
Some tough
sandy.
stuff, and
There's
you're
some
like,
sandy, heavy stuff in there.
Well, whatever it was keeping your baby alive.
Right,
So
right,
I guess
yeah.
it needs to be
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
Fair.
Well, and I have not had the opportunity to. I didn't get to do that, so I have nothing to compare that to. When and I talked about this last week, but when we got there, I got Liv on coaching from one of the really nice nurses in that like pre-triage room before you go into the birthing room, that we should get Liv an egg sandwich so that she could have something in her stomach before she ate.
Right.
And so I had one too. Did you have any? Did you like eat anything bad before you helped your wife deliver? Did you eat anything that was like inappropriate, like eggs, like I had?
Not eggs. No. So yeah, with Eliza first, we got to the hospital at like 7 or 8 a.m. I think. Ended up having her early afternoon, but there wasn't obviously
so
contractions were happening and things like that, but nothing serious like where the baby was coming soon. So it was about lunchtime, and I asked Courtney, I was like, "Do you want me to get us some lunch? Like I think the nurses will bring you lunch. I'll run downstairs if that's okay." She's like, "Yeah, I think we've got some time." So I went downstairs to the hospital cafeteria. There's craft sushi was there. It's delicious, by the way.
Yeah, craft sushi's our favorite spot.
Is this an advertising thing? Do we get money for that?
So we have been naming brands nonstop
Craft
with the hopes
sushi.
that they will decide. Michael, we love you.
and it is delicious.
We have all of our podcast meetings at Craft Sushi.
That's so true though.
But I go down there and I just got my meal, got my lunch, and they asked me what kind of sauce I wanted. I don't really remember what the sauce was, but it was kind of a garlic-based sauce.
Oh no.
And severely garlic-based, come to find out. So I eat this whole thing up in the room, and obviously, my wife is during childbirth and during the term and pregnancy and all that kind of stuff. Women's senses are heightened.
Oh,
so
sure.
their smell is heightened. So let's keep that in mind. They can smell a lot stronger than they could normally. And so
more wolf-like.
that's nice. compare your wife to a wolf.
She's strong and proud like a wolf.
Right.
I'm trying
That's
nice.
really
hard to dig my way out of that one. Sorry.
So I eat this entire sushi bowl with the garlic sauce. We start getting into strong contractions. She's in the middle of it, and I'm at her head, like coaching her through it. Like, you got this, babe. Just do your breathing exercises. And I'm just breathing this garlic sauce in her face, I guess.
All up in there.
And of course, she's got other things going on. She's kind of busy at the time, and
preoccupied,
in
if you will.
pain, and not a whole lot of patience at that time. She just turns to me and goes, "Can you stop breathing on me?" Just go away. Do something. Stop breathing on me, because your breath is horrible. I was just like, oh. Yeah, sorry about that. And so luckily we had like a big package of those like breath mints, like those wintergreen, just super strong.
Yeah.
I popped like 6 in my mouth. And I was like, I'm not leaving this room.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not going anywhere.
I ate probably 15 or 16 of those the last 30 minutes of pregnancy just to make sure that my breath was okay.
That's hysterical.
So do not eat garlic-based food when coaching your wife.
Well, at least she's not a vampire.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I thought that too. I was so glad to hear that.
I have a somewhat similar of a story. It's not necessarily what I ate, but when Allie was pregnant with Liam, going through delivery and whatnot, she has her hair up in a ponytail, right? And they're leaning back and going forward, leaning back. So when they're doing that, the ponytail kind of comes out, like down here at the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when Allie gets serious about making sure Liam makes his exit, well, her hair's like down here and like hitting her neck, and she just looks at me and she's like, "Will you fix my mullet?" And I'm like, well, "You're what?" She's like, "My hair, fix my hair." So guys don't know how to do ponytails, So like I'm up here like messing with her hair, trying to figure it out, and
You're doing it wrong.
Luckily, all the nurses were female, and one of them just hopped in there, took care of it for her. Second time around, wore a headband. Didn't have to worry about that time.
That makes sense.
I guess that's more of a mom hack than dad hack. But we highly encourage that.
I didn't. Fortunately, the egg sandwich. Liv was so distracted with meds and trying to get a child that wouldn't. Well, a child with my head. Out.
That's a real
was a real problem.
Victory.
So the fact that we had to go in and get her only made sense when you think about the size of my noggin. And we actually ended up, because Elsie was 6 days overdue, we ended up in the NICU. Elsie was the largest child in the NICU probably that they had ever seen. She was 9 pounds 8 ounces. Is that right? I think that's right. She was 9.5 pounds. And so she was gigantic compared to every other kid in there because she had sugar issues. But one of the things that they made us do was that we had to stay there longer because we're in the NICU. Mm-hmm. And it was a sugar imbalance thing. And my wife she was the cool as a cucumber person the entire time we were there. And partially because she still had a lot of those meds coursing through her veins, but also because inevitably she had a cooler head than I did. After we got done with the NICU, Liv had a C-section, and we had to go into a section called the Care by Parent rooms, which is this god-awful... It's like a halfway house between the NICU and going home.
Okay.
Where they don't monitor you as much as if you were in the NICU, but they still check on you every 12 hours.
And they still charge you the same.
And fuck yeah, they do. Pardon my French. Love you, Mercy. They came in and checked her every 6 hours as opposed to every 2 or whatever the time was. But it was... So the joke is that Dad has to sleep on the little crappy couch in the room, which inevitably, go figure, we don't really care. We're there to take care of our children and our significant others. But when we got into the Care by Parent room, Liv had just gotten done with a C-section, and Liv was expected to sleep on one of those pull-out couches.
Oh my gosh!
And I got in the middle of a nurse about it. And I was like, wait. So I want you to just explain something to me. So my wife, who just had major surgery, is expected to sleep on that little piece of shit couch. And Liv grabbed me by the back of my shirt and just dragged me back like 2 steps, and I stopped. But I was ready to just get in the middle of a nurse about it because I was so pissed. But yeah, so I didn't have... Actually, Liv was the one with the calm, cool, and collected experience in the hospital, and it was not me. Go freaking figure.
It's nice to have that balance.
We need that in our
she was
family.
there to help out with that. Can I ask you a question though? Because that actually brings up a point. So I didn't know that you had to pack like a care bag or like a bag, like a ready bag when you're going to the hospital.
Did you read nothing?
No.
When you were
like early on, it's like, well, I didn't know. I mean, that's things that you learn, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So it's like, what were huge things that you all packed in your bag? Because one for me, because I knew that couch was there. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah,
because
no.
I'm not in as much pain as other people.
Certainly, no.
In the relationship at that time. So just like a super plush pillow, like a blanket, all that kind of stuff, and that was huge.
Right.
I went back to my Boy Scout days. I packed all kinds of like weird.
Did you build a fire in the room?
Built a fire, packed a tent. Look at the
going-
knots I can make, honey.
God, you guys suck.
With the umbilical cord.
You guys suck. You guys suck.
Let me help this old lady cross the
No, I
street.
went and got like some of my like that really nice but also super compactable camp pillow that came with me. And like I had learned years ago that your down jacket doubles as a really nice pillow, and so I had that because also inevitably hospitals are cold, and so I had a jacket to wrap around that pillow, and that was what I had done, not tie knots in her umbilical cord. You shitheads.
That's great though.
You shitheads. I love you both so much, you fuckers.
Yeah, it was funny. With your first one, you overdo everything, no matter what it is. So I know. For me, pillow was big, blanket, several changes of clothes, and then mostly though is all like stuff for Allie and what she needed or thought she needed at the time. And then the second one rolls around, you're like, oh, I just need a pillow and a pair of shorts and I'm good to go. Right. So it's funny how that works. So.
I packed. Fortunately, I overpacked, but also we spent 4 or 5 extra days in the NICU, so it was enough. I packed enough shit, but it just so happened that like I wore my last T-shirt the last day.
Yeah. It is funny just how different each birth or child is different. All the way from when they're born to even now, as their personalities are developing, how different they are. But so in I have 2 boys, and they're still like they're so similar, but so different at the same time too. You just have the one, so you're not.
I'm the wuss in this threesome here. Like I've only got 1 kid, and I'm bitching
Your
about
dad.
it. So.
There's no wusses in this profession.
Fair enough. Touche. Fair enough.
But Andy, you have one of each. You got a boy and a girl. So what is that like as far as raising a boy versus raising a girl? Is there many differences like when they're this little, or is it pretty similar? What's that look like?
Yeah, so I think you're absolutely right. The first child, you are just over planning. You don't know what you don't know, and so you're terrified. At least the men are. I think like you said, the women have cool heads. It's natural. It is. It is literally. It's a sign. It's unbelievable. It's incredible what they can do. And you're just sitting here and you're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Because you're kind of helpless. You're not the one birthing this child. Nothing's happening to your body.
Yeah, so you should be the chill one.
You should be, right?
And yet.
But you're helpless. You don't know what to do. But you're right. So that with our first, we overpacked the hospital bag. With George, it was much less. It was a lot of similar stuff, but we were ready for it. We didn't have to pack it, 3 weeks in advance like we did with Eliza.
Right.
I think with the first child, you are overprotective about just everything that they do.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Don't walk too fast now. It's okay. And George isn't walking yet, thank God. But when he does, he's already doing stuff and we're like, he's fine. Just leave him in that room. He's okay. He's not going to roll off the bed.
Because you've had the experience to know that, like, Eliza survived. So George will figure it out.
And they're not as bad as it sounds, they're not as fragile as what you think.
100%.
Right?
Well,
That's
what's incredible
I was
to watch,
all about a porcelain
to watch
doll.
the nurses and the doctors.
Oh my gosh!
Because they yank them out once they're out. They're not
flopping
slapping. They're not slapping the butt anymore like they did. Like in those 80s and 90s movies.
Yeah, right.
They're like slapping the baby to make them breathe. But it's like they're just manhandling. It's like, that's my child. Why don't you just relax?
Give it a rest, big boy. Give it a rest, would you?
But they see this every day. 8, 10, 15 times a day. So it's not new to them. And so you watch that and you're like, all right, they actually are a lot more durable than you think they are. So and that kind of comes into it with your second kid too, which I'm sure you know, Derek.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's kind of how it was with us. And then difference between boy and a girl. They're still so young. It's hard to know personalities. But frankly, with your little girl, that's your little girl, right? You're already like thinking ahead to like, if she gets asked out, I'm inviting all of like my brother-in-law, all of my friends.
Can we come over?
And we're gonna
We're
gonna have whiskey.
Please.
I'm gonna have a shotgun just sitting there. It's like, hi, how are you? It's like, are you gonna bring her back at 7:47 on the dot?
Make sure we've got Peyton there with all his tattoos and a wife beater.
Absolutely.
Or that scene from Bad Boys 2.
Right.
That's what I tell everybody. Have you seen Bad Boys 2? Yeah, that's the quintessential. That's what's going to happen when my
By the way,
daughter
drunk
gets
uncle,
asked out.
got that figured out. Drunk uncle's here.
Yeah.
Bryant's going to be the one. Have you ever had sex with a man?
Yeah.
You want
to?
It's great. But
I'm into it. Let's go.
But that's your little girl, right? So you're already just super protective. And Eliza's daddy's girl right now. She's just she just wants always to be
That's
held
awesome.
and everything
That's
like
great.
that. And it's
Yeah.
great. It's an incredible feeling.
But also it's terrible.
Yeah, right. Just wait.
Yeah.
But with George, and I don't know what it is, and sometimes I feel bad about this, but it's like I'm a little bit less, I don't coddle him as much. Maybe it's because he's the second child, or maybe it's because he's a boy, or maybe it's because he looks and already acts as a 7-month-old a lot like his old man. It's like, God,
Can't wait.
I'm not.
I can't wait. God, I can't wait.
But it's like, I'm not going to coddle you as much. Like, I love you just as much, but it's like, I have no sympathy for your crying as much. It's like if you're gonna cry, you're gonna figure it out. Like you're a man. You're
a man.
Suck it up,
7
man.
months old.
You're a grown ass man. Deal with your shit like one.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, that's and I feel bad about it. And Courtney sometimes like, hey, relax. But I talk to like my brother-in-law, and I've talked to other guys with boys, and they're like, it's true. Like you're just a lot. I'm not rough with the baby, but they're like, they've got like 7 and 8 year olds, and they're like, you're just rougher with them. I mean, like the way you play is different, and the way you like treat them is different. But it's funny how that difference is between those.
Well, the one that I heard, or the one-liner that I heard some social media account somewhere was that, and I assume that you'll be better qualified to talk about this as the kids get older and can start doing stuff and running around the house a little better. But like, little girls will break your heart. Little girls will break your heart. Little boys will break your shit. And so, like, inevitably, I will have more emotional damage than I will have physical damage within my house. You're going to have double duty, just shit broken all over the place. And you're going to get a little bit of both. So I'm really excited about that for you guys. But I really like that one-liner.
That is
little girls will break your heart, and little boys will break your shit.
Yep, been there already.
You guys just did a remodel, so I'm sure you got to let the kids just like draw on the walls and stuff.
It's great. You redo this whole house, have it looking all nice, and then your kids take over, and shit starts breaking. But it's fine. It's great. I'm okay. I'm over it.
You seem like you're okay.
Yeah. He seems really excited about it.
We're gonna talk later after we're off the air here.
So, speaking of little kids and houses and stuff, obviously, as dads, sometimes we get to spend the time with our kids single dadding, whether it's, letting mom sleep in like you talked about earlier, or we've got weddings on Saturdays, and so you've got all day Saturday, or like Liv hasn't been feeling well, and so I've been, daddy on duty for the last couple of days. What are some of your like favorite kid distractions? Like, do you have anything? I talked a lot about I thought I was going to be like the super granola dad that doesn't need screens for my kid. We're just going to play with ourselves because I'm so entertaining. Yeah, right. Yeah. We're gonna the great outdoors. We're gonna build fires and tie knots. What are some of the kid distractions or the kid activities that you like with your munchkins?
Yeah, so that's funny that you say that about the screens, because every parent is that way.
I think
we all start out that way.
Every parent's like, you know what? I would never let them just sit there with a screen at a restaurant. It's like,
you clearly don't have any kids.
Like, you don't have children.
You want to fucking bet?
There are times where the screen is absolutely the best distraction, because it's like we're in church, or we're at a restaurant where it's kind of quiet, or we're in an airplane. You can watch 17 hours.
You guys have traveled with
Bluey if you want to. But
we love Bluey around here. Bluey's a favorite
great.
of the program.
Bluey's good. It's fun for adults. And you can't get over those accents. Aussie accents are great.
So much fun.
But anyway, but I mean that's always got a place. The screen's great. But what we've tried to do, or at least what Courtney and I have done, is put music on and just have a dance party. Seriously, I mean, just introduce her. And Eliza loves music, and of course we grew up musical families, and so that's a big part of our lives. And we go to concerts all the time. We're going to bring them, pretty soon once Eliza's old enough. Cool. But just music is huge, and then just getting outside. I mean, we make the joke about Boy Scouts, but it is like we go for a walk around the neighborhood. We go hiking or something if we have the time. But I think those are great distractions because it's something we like to do. It's good for them. I mean, music's great. You can't.
What kind of music are you getting into? Because I can't get Elsie entertained by anything other than like Little Kid, Raffi, or like something. You remember Raffi from our childhood?
Yeah.
Grief. Like something Kid, Baby Shark, whatever. I want so bad for her to be into 90s hip hop, but she won't do it.
There's certain songs that aren't too.
She doesn't know English yet. It's fine.
Tried Backstreet Boys yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten there. What are you? Just your music, like Ben Rector stuff?
Pretty much. I mean, Ben Rector's huge. I mean, he's literally just our favorite artist, and he's just got such good music. It's just like kids love it. It's wholesome. You're not worried about like big curse words coming in. Ben Rector's great. Bluegrass is just fun. Yeah, kids hear bluegrass. You can't listen to bluegrass and not want to dance, right? And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the hillbilly and me. The Southwest Missouri podcast.
I want to,
But I think that's huge.
Southwest Missouri podcast.
Yeah, I was like,
hillbilly, Ozark Mountain Daredevils.
I want to see
we do.
I bet you do too.
So I will say this real quickly. So I've got kind of a playlist if I have to sing the kids to bed, like if they're just having a tough time going down, I've got my playlist.
Tell me about the last time you sung the kids to bed, DC.
Well, I do sing a song every night. We
All right.
We
Good
rotate.
for you. I stand corrected.
Get low, Lil Jon.
Allie sings a song, Dad sings a song, and then Liam sings a song to go to bed. And
Cool.
Obviously, Brody can't talk yet, so it's just Mom and Dad.
Right.
And
To
actually,
the window.
yeah, they love that.
To the
one.
wall.
Really get some. But the Daredevils are part of that, and the Eagles. Those are. I mean, Tom Petty. I mean, there's just the classic rock stuff. But,
that's
but I
funny.
think music's been huge, and that gets them, away from the
Yeah,
screen.
cool. I like
that a lot.
Dances and then just getting outside. I
Yeah.
think that's big.
I wanted so bad to get Elsie, and one of the first handful of songs that I was introduced to as a kid, the first song I knew every word to was AC/DC Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, because my dad thought it was hilarious to teach me that. But that also translated where Elsie and I have been listening to AC/DC in the car, and she will sing "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap" from the back seat. Like, it's just gonna happen. I'm so excited
That's
about
great.
that.
I love it.
But what about you? Kid distractions.
Well,
What do you
first
got?
of all, Andy, I need a video of your bluegrass dancing. I need to see that
Yes, please.
sometime.
I don't film myself, Derek.
But
well, Courtney
maybe
can,
Courtney's got some
Courtney
secret
can help.
video.
Yeah.
But she's got blackmail.
I'll text Courtney after.
Yeah, we'll get that handled. Don't worry.
But no, it's funny she said dancing. So yeah, Liam, he loves music too. It doesn't matter what the genre is. Like if he hears it on a movie or whatever, he'll just hop up and start dancing.
Awesome.
Again,
That's fun.
Brody can't do that yet. So the kind of funny one that we have is Liam's really into Legos now and like building. However, he doesn't.
So glad to know that.
He doesn't build anything other than a tower. So he just stacks them all the way up, right? Well, so that keeps him entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brody's thing that keeps him entertained is knocking
shit
down that tower.
Yeah, that's two little brothers. Go
Sounds like a
figure.
boy.
The two brothers.
So Liam builds it up, Brody knocks it down, and then Liam has to build it back up again. And so that keeps him entertained for a good
Does he get pissed?
hour. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes he does,
Sure.
and he loses it. And then other times he's like, Brody Bear. And then
Brody
he just
Bear.
moves on. So
I love
it's
That's
funny.
too cute. It's
funny.
ridiculous.
But no, speaking of ridiculous and kids, Andy, with your work, you deal with a lot of wills and trust.
Estate planner extraordinaire.
Estate planning extraordinaire. Can you put that on your business cards?
Pretty sure it's already on there.
I'm
a long
sure,
word.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy, probably obnoxious things that some parents have left to their kids in their wills or in their trusts.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
So do you have any good stories on what parents have left their kids?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's always interesting. There's never a dull day, and it's it's estate planning. So most people are like, wow, death and dying. And
Yeah, really
that
exciting
sounds
stuff.
Really exciting.
Yeah, fun.
It actually is a very interesting area of work. But yeah, just recently had somebody come in, and we were talking about he's got a minor child, just a little boy, one not even a year old yet. And was thinking, well, what happens with your assets if you pass away? I mean, how are those going to be used? How does your son get that? Because you don't want to give it to him when they're 18. Because it's like he's 18. But he's like, honestly,
Dangerous.
yeah. But he's like, honestly, if we're gone and before he's 18 and he turns 18 years old, I want him to have $5,000 to just have a freaking rager. I just want him to just bring his
That's
friends over to the
the
house
dad
wherever
after
he's
my own
living,
heart.
get some kegs, do whatever you want, because that's going to be my gift to him. And I was like, you want me to put that in your trust?
Right?
Listen, I'm pretty sure I can't. That seems illegal. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But so I didn't put the word rager in the trust, but we did set aside $5,000 on his 18th birthday to do whatever he wants with, and that's the intent is have a rager.
We're gonna need to amend our
Yeah, you need to
trust
get that in
information.
yours.
Can we
I
get that
was
set
gonna
up
say.
for else, please?
So that one,
that's funny.
that one was
great.
fun, and then
I bet you've got all kinds of weird stuff.
well, oftentimes there are times where clients don't really like their kids anymore. There's been a falling out. This is a dad podcast, so hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody.
Yeah, fingers
decent
crossed.
dad.
Yeah, decent dad. We're
Not
only-
a great dad.
Not a
just
good
okay.
dad, but
Yeah.
a decent dad.
We're just
yeah.
okay.
But they'll disinherit their children, and there was one where they're like, we've got 3 kids. 2 of them are fine. They really don't need the money. One's just an idiot. We haven't seen him. He's a drug addict, whatever it is. And it's like, so we're not leaving him anything. So let's just leave everything to the dogs. And this was like $2 million. This is millions.
What does a dog do with $2 million?
Well, it was basically.
This is my favorite answer.
It was a pet trust. So you set up
There's a dog trust.
You set up a trust account for your pets. and you name somebody to be the guardian of those pets, and then use the money from that trust for their dog food and for their grooming and for their care and medical bills. And then when that dog passes, you can set it up where any other dogs, you can just keep buying them and just take care of them. Or the money goes to the Humane Society.
You have dogs after death.
Right?
Dogs after death.
Like,
post-humanist dog ownership.
That's zero sense
bananas.
to me.
Interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, super. Well, and you've told me before, like you had a parrot. I think I remember talking to you about a parrot trust.
But that has parrots.
Maybe somebody else
live to be like 80 or 90 years old.
That's the thing. They live so long.
Yeah. So dogs, it's like, well, that dog dies, that money's going to go to the Humane Society or whatever. But parrots outlive their owners all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like we really need to set this parrot up. He's been a great little
poor
parrot.
guy. How will he live
trust.
without us?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. You've got some interesting people that come through the door.
That's so funny and so weird, and also I love it because at the end of the day, like if you've had a bad experience with your kids or you never had kids, because inevitably there's going to be some buds of ours that don't have kids, but you know what? I really like my dog, and I don't want
have any
something to
pets,
happen.
so.
Yeah, you don't.
Do you think,
because you're a bad dad.
I never thought about this. Do you think the dog just was like super entitled afterwards?
Right?
When he figured out,
like,
I'm getting $2 million, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do owe me that.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking 50 cents a dog bone, that's a shitload
That's
of dog
a
bone,
lot.
son.
That's a lot.
That's what I'm thinking. Like $2 million. Like how much dog food would that buy?
A lot. A lot.
Good night.
Yeah, that's just a couple of 1,000 pounds. Yeah. So we're getting relatively close to the end here. So, AP, tell us about your... Well, forget it. Let's just go straight into it. It's dad joke of the week time. It's dad joke time. So, Andy, do you have a good dad joke that Courtney hates and Eliza doesn't understand yet, and little George will soon speak English and maybe he'll get it soon?
So I'm not a huge dad joke person, but one that did come to mind that I'd heard recently was pretty good. I think it applies to our generation, kind of from the 90s. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
Ooh.
You follow the Fresh Prince.
Oh my God.
I was honestly thought it was going to be a play on the whole slap thing.
Yeah.
Talk about a career ruiner. Good grief.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
The other
why is my reaction to all of these always just a groan?
Because that's what dad jokes elicit. It's
But-
just like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
the other dad should chuckle at the jokes.
I'm
The
with
mom,
you.
the
Well, and
mom should groan.
Here's what I do is when I know it's a terrible joke, I will overlaugh to make my just.
It's that good.
And then they're just like, please stop doing
Please
that.
stop. Please
stop
give it a
doing
rest.
this.
It's
This is
no
terrible.
good. It's awful. What about you? You got one?
Well, you was talking about parrots earlier, so it made me kind of think of seagulls actually. And so why?
Oh my God, we're getting so bad at the segues.
Why do seagulls fly over the sea? You guys know?
Tell us.
To get to the seashore? I don't know.
Not quite. Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be called bagels.
It's getting thick in here, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting thick in here.
Oh, Brian, what you got? What's your dad joke of the week?
Well, so we were talking, and again, it's one of these things where inevitably these conversations that we're having while the cameras are on, because we do have a little bit of an agenda, it's always funny to see, like, at least to some extent, the camera's on, so we're a little buttoned up. I mean, yes, we're still cursing, and yes, we're still telling funny stories, but inevitably we're not just going to talk as free as we would normally talk if the cameras weren't on. And I ran upstairs to grab coffee and came back downstairs, and these two were talking about raking leaves and how, gosh, our neighborhood, it was a big thing many years ago where they were going to plant they were hoping to have mature trees.
This
in our
is exciting for us now.
All right, you should see all the leaves in my yard, and you moved from a new neighborhood to an old neighborhood, and so
Right.
again, a bunch of really mature trees and lots of leaves.
Reason 45, you're a dad.
Yeah, no shit. Get excited about raking leaves, but that was actually where my joke was coming from, because it's the fall. It's all about leaves on the ground, and so I was thinking about trees. And again, we're a podcast. We're on the internet. So how do trees get on the internet?
I got
nothing.
It's too much silence.
They just log on, boys. They just log on.
Log
just
on.
that
They
simple.
just log
get it?
on. Do you get it, Andy?
Log.
Why did everybody laugh at your jokes and nobody laughed at mine? I'm feeling like this is a personal affront
Again,
to me and mine.
You're the youngest dad here, so
I'm very upset
I
that
thought it
nobody
was
thought
good.
that was funny.
I laughed. I
Yeah.
did. Did I not laugh?
I-
Play back.
I smiled.
Run it back. Play it back. would you?
Cameraman.
Is there anything else that we talked about or should talk about before we get out of here? Because I think we're getting pretty close
You
to
know,
time.
I think we nailed it. This is a great episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, AP, we, of course, are very excited that you've been here. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. Those of you out on the internet, a little call to action here. Do all of the liking and sharing and subscribing on all the different social media channels. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find stuff. At some point, we're going to get that all set up. I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. We actually haven't done much of that at this point.
Is this even recording?
Oh,
Hopefully that
Are we
somebody
just
has
talking
hit
to each
record.
other?
I don't
Somebody-
see the red light blinking, but we'll be okay.
We got to do this whole thing again.
You mean we got to drink more coffee? Oh, no, I hate that.
This coffee's great. Very hoppy.
Very happy.
Very hoppy coffee. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, AP. We're excited to have our friends on.
Absolutely.
And thanks for watching. So, hey, way to go, decent dad. Nice
All
work.
right. Appreciate
Great
that.
job.
Just
Thank you,
calling you a
guys.
decent dad.
Well.
All right, folks. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. The crowd, the audience would love to see you.
Actually, could you... Jesus Christ, Andy.
It's okay. Bryant had his ass in the
No, it was.
camera frame on the last episode.
I didn't think about it. I walked right across the front of it, and like I might have had my entire ass out, might have had my entire it was a real problem.